Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the channel for another live stream, a bonus stream this evening. Didn't think I'd be back so soon after last night. But yes, our owner, Kevin Nagle, has finally broken the silence after going missing for ages, it seemed, with one of those video diaries, which, to be fair, ironically, I said I would glad I hadn't seen one of those, but overnight there has been, obviously there was one posted. But yes, we're gonna get into it all, what was said and things like that, and yeah, we're gonna go through it. But as you could probably see from the title, still no closer to knowing a full action plan, which is communication is supposed to actually mean something. You need to come away with something and think, yeah, I feel a lot more positive now. I can see an action plan here. I can see what we are going to do moving forward. But we didn't get any of that clarity. It was all pure waffle again, unfortunately, to say. That is how I see it. And for me, I can't be bothered listening to it. I'm just not going to listen to these cringy video diaries. I'm just not going to do it. 40 minutes of them sat there going on about things. How about take some action into place rather than going on there and promising this and promising that? How about that? Because I'm sorry, the only reason I know what's being said is through X. People have been summarising it on there, and also on the Yorkshire Post has done a piece on it as well, and I've just had a look at the quotes and go through a few of the quotes as well. But I just refuse to listen to the owner like this because it just all feels the same again. Deja vu, of what we've had before. This is just a repeat of what has been, what we have had before, and I'm tired of the same. I'm just tired of it all. But before we get into it all, we're going to get into it. Let's say a few of those in the chats. Jensen's in. He says, hello, Ryan. Hope you're doing well. Hello to you, Jensen. How's things? And yeah, good to see you. Obviously, one of our members of the channel. Big up to you for your continued membership on the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. But yes, Aiden is in. He says, hello, mate. Hope you're okay. Big up to you, Aiden, as well. Good to see you. How are you doing? And yeah, hope you're doing well, mate. And he also says, make sure to smash the likes, everyone, and subscribe if you're new. Yes. If you can help me out, it would mean a lot to me. You know what I mean? Hit the like button. It is free. And subscribe. That is also free. So, guys, we are on the road to 900. And yes, we're probably not the most consistent channel on YouTube, but try and be consistent as I can. Try and do things. But I would love to do daily content, but there's not always there's not always things to talk about, is there? But yeah, but big up, yeah, do help me out, guys. It would mean a lot to me. And Michael says, hi, Ryan, hope you're okay. Hello, Michael, how are you doing? Good to see you. Let me know your thoughts, everybody, on the Kevin Nagle video diary that is obviously being posted. Joshua says, hi, Ryan, hope you're well. Hello to you, Joshua. But look, like I say, let's get into it. Because for me, as I've already said, this just feels like 40 minutes of pure waffle again. And it all just feels like deja vu from what we've had in the past, The same, we made mistakes, we are going to put it right, trust us. All these buzzwords. And I'm just thinking to myself, yes, you have made mistakes. But how many times have we heard we are going to put it right? And why should we trust you? Why should we trust you, Nagle? Why should we? Because I'm sorry, the on-field decisions have been woeful. So no, I ain't going to trust anything until I see action put into place here. And when you're saying we're going to put it right, well, you said that last year, but yet nothing was done. It's been another season of utter failure. 9th in the league, in League One, 5 points adrift, and it's just been a complete and utter disaster of a season once again. So no, you know what I mean? I'm not going to listen to it. You know, why should we trust any of those decision makers at the club? Why should we? Because I'm afraid none of us that are truthful actually do trust anything the club does at the moment. Aiden says he's buying the audience cinema. What's that got to do with football? I mean, yeah. I mean, why do we need to know these things? Right? He doesn't. We need to get. He needs to focus on getting the Huddersfield Town, the product on the pitch, you know, better first before he's buying other stuff. Now, other things that I took from it as well. We're going to get into the quotes. We're going to just kind of like summarize what was said first, and then we're going to kind of go through a few quotes. If that's okay with you guys. Now, he called it a 70% increase incremental, which in other words, he's saying that's a small increase. It's basically, you know, a small increase, that word means. I mean, how much are they going to be next season if this is a small increase with the season ticket prices? I'm sorry, I'm not understanding. You know, but yeah, in the context of things, basically what was said throughout this diary. We were told big changes on and off the field for next season, same old rubbish. Wanting bigger and stronger players, well, yes. Why wasn't that addressed last summer? Oh, yes, because we have people in the board that are so incompetent at their jobs they can't actually find these kind of players. List of managers, but no contact yet, was confirmed. The stadium on track, but got to wait on Ken Davey and the Shea deal completion. So yes, of course, the full ownership of the stadium. That's what, you know, he's on track to be completed very, very soon. Just waiting on that with Ken Davey and the Shea, the Shea Stadium deal for the Huddersfield Giants completed. Looking into buying the Odeon Cinema, like Ian's already said. I have no idea what that has any interest in what we need to do. But anyway, he said season card price had to rise. Yes, I think everybody agreed they needed to rise, but not to the level that they did. And he was shocked at the agent fee news as well, which I'm just staggered by. How can he not know that this is, you know, the people? How can he not know what has been going on here? But look, let's get into some of the quotes that were said then throughout this video diary. I have got a few noted down here, quite a few actually. Now, let me know your thoughts, guys, on this, on what was said. By the way, good to hear what you guys think. But if you haven't already, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and yeah, share the channel as well. But but yeah, first I'm going to start off with, obviously, Nagle is conscious of the growing fan dissatisfaction and says that big changes both on and off the field are likely this summer following this nightmare of a season. He said, I've got a number of businesses and spent much more time on town than any of the others. Now, well, if you spend more time with us, then I'm sorry, I'm not really sure what's happened there. I think we need to have a look at look at what's happened there, because if you've put time in something and it's failed badly, I mean, it doesn't look great, does it, at all? We have done some very good things as well. You know, he said we've made a lot of mistakes. Where he said he said we've only been in over 22 months. We've made a lot of mistakes, which we've already heard many times before, and I'm just not buying that anymore. We have also done some good things as well, probably off the pitch than on the pitch. Well, that sounds to me like he knows full well that the things on the pitch has gone badly wrong in terms of the football decisions being made, as we've already said it on this channel anyway. And he's more saying that off the field, it's been more of a success that in that regard. Well, you know, and you can't argue with that. But again, failed people in the board. This is what you get on the field. He said he wants to understand. He wants people to understand that we are giving it our all. I mean, you could be giving it your all, but at the end of the day, we're not seeing anything come through with that. And certainly, he may have been giving it his all, but his staff that he's employed clearly haven't been, and actually just totally incompetent with their jobs, at their jobs. So yeah. He also went on to say, by any stretch, I do not think this is a failure because like I said, we're going to get this right. Now, for me, I'm not really sure. How can you not say that this season has not been a failure? How can you not say that things that have happened over the past 12 months have not been a failure? This is where the denial kicks in, and this is where he's a bit naive. And I've just realised I'm quite dark, aren't I, on the camera there? So I'm just going to put a light on because we cannot be having. I really do need to get myself one of those glow lights, you know, where I can actually, where the lighting will be a lot better than this. But yeah, anyways, so yeah. Again, it's all we are going to do this. We are going to do this. We are going to get this right. Well, where is the evidence suggested it is going to be you know what I mean? Stop saying things like this and just show us via the actions. You know what I mean? Just unnecessary things coming out of his mouth here. He also went to say we are going to make a lot of changes. There are a lot of changes that we can't really talk about yet, which again, that isn't really something what fans want to know. What changes are going to be made? What's going to happen? Why is it all so vague and nothing actually being said in these video diaries? I do not want to litigate personnel in the public domain. Well, I'm sorry. You know, we're coming up to the season card renewals, and fans are still up in the air of whether to renew or not. Because at the end of the day, the problems are still in the boardroom, and I'm sick and tired of. There is no reason why Kevin Nagle couldn't come out in this video diary and actually say things that are meaningful and actually a clear action plan so fans know what the action plan is. Because as fans, we deserve to know what's going to happen here. You know what I mean? We need to know. We could have come out and said, the board, we are going to get a new board in. You know what I mean? Mark Cartwright, Jake Edwards will be departing the building. There's no reason why he cannot come out and say that, and he's choosing not to. So I want to know why that is. They also went to say we've made decisions going forward really into next season. They just not have been publicly announced yet. We are going to make a lot of changes. So there's a lot to do in the next 120 days in preparation for next year. But again, we have made decisions. Well, tell us those decisions. Why are you keeping it close to your chest? Tell us what you are going to do about this mess. Don't just keep saying all this. You know what I mean? It just really annoys me. Adam says Cartwright out better be the change. Well, this thing, and what is he waiting for? What is he waiting for? The season is done. The season is done. Whatever anybody likes to say, the season is done. And he could have come out in this video diary and set out a clear action plan, not the same waffle that we've heard before. A clear action plan. This is what we're gonna do. This is what, you know what I mean? And we are going to get rid of the Cartwright and Edwards. And fans would have reacted to this better. There's a lot of fans that have said, you know, it's just utter waffle again, and it's just the same old story. And Wayne says it's all talk and no action in these diaries. Yes, it is, and that's been a theme, hasn't it? But of course, the same happy clapper fans start getting giddy and excited. Thank you, Kevin, for coming out. Thank you for saying, you know what I mean? It's like fans that just don't have a brain. It's like they don't learn. You know what I mean? quite a lot of us can see clearly that this has happened before with all these things that have been said. We've made mistakes. We've done that. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. But yet again, fans just get giddy again and say, "Oh yes, I mean, we put full trust in you again, Kevin, because you've come out and said things like this again." It's just fans don't learn. But yeah, I agree. Kev needs to lower the price and get seats on bums, agent fees, and poor kit with the sponsorship. Too many managers. Yeah, why are the fans at the brunt of these big, these agent fees? Why are we paying these agent fees off? You know what I mean? Why are we doing that? Why should the fans be punished for the amount of money that's being wasted because he's got incompetent people in the boardroom? Why are we being punished for that? It's not our fault. So yeah, and like I said, the sponsorship kit deal with Castor, it's just absolutely ridiculous when you look at the kit deal that we're getting. Fans that have had this kit deal in the past have said the quality of the kits are awful. They're shocking. And I think we spoke about this at the time when it was announced. I suppose we go for low level quality in everything that we do, so maybe it suits us, but it's just ridiculous. Too many managers that we've had to pay off, but the fans have to pay the brunt of that, of course. Incompetent decision making from those in the board. We have to pay for it, apparently. Yeah. But he also went on to say there are a lot on the pitch. There's a lot of contracts that are expiring, and candidly, it's a lot from where we were last year. I like a lot of our signings. I'd love to know what you like about a lot of our signings, because there's been nothing short of a disaster. Most of these signs that we brought in, apart from Ruskin, who's looked good. Obviously Miller, when he's been fixed, looked good. I'm sorry, apart from that, I don't really see what signings he's liked, because they haven't done anything. And he also said he thinks our support base will understand this. We are definitely going to be a bigger team next year and larger and more physical. Look, we knew what we needed last summer, and the people that he employed didn't do that, so not having it, I'm afraid. There's just so much really to cover here, and it's just all false promises. So a look at, it's like the high season tickets are just for agents. Joe Taylor. Yeah, well, I mean, look, Joe Taylor doesn't look fit, does he, at all? He does look, obviously. But again, I go back to it. You know what I mean? Joe Taylor's come in, and I'm thinking to myself, what are we actually doing here? He needs somebody up there with him, a target man up there with him, and we haven't got that. And yes, he should be doing better than what he's done, but I just can't get too angry with him, because I just think to myself, he needs players to give him the service as well. But again, I'm not making an excuse for him fully, but I just go back to it. He needs players that can provide for him. Launching the ball up to him, expecting him to win headers, is not going to happen, which is what we've done all season. So that is my point, So yeah. What else do I have to say? Yeah, he also said about the managerial situation, the way until the end of the season to decide on the manager. But again, God hope, blooming hope that who's not involved in the decision making of that appointment. There have been a lot of rumours that have gone X and some other players on managers we've talked to. He said, we haven't talked to any managers yet. We have a list we've compiled. Yes, and that will continue to go as the season ends and people become available. None of the decisions have been made yet. Then he starts talking about the season, the last half of the season has been very disappointing. He had a discussion with Worthington. John is a great academy director, and we asked him to come over and bring us over the line with 8 or 9 matches left. It's a tall order to turn the mentality of the players. Saturday was an atrocious game, one of our worst matches of the season. Nagle then stressed about the fact that he is aware of those, the levels of disappointment among fans and what and things like that. He said he's going on about how he's spent this amount of money, great, but again, a lot of that money's been wasted on recruitment. Other things right now, it's not financially sustainable unless I continue to invest pretty heavily into it. I think some of our fans made reference to it on X and some of them, and they are correct. It is heavily subsidised and candid why we had to raise on our season ticket price, which again, on levels of fans' angst, he said, everything that I was supposed to talk about, I feel it. I don't really think you do, Kevin. You're not in the real world, I'm afraid. At some point, people have asked me, are you getting tired and might leave? I don't want to and intend to right now. I want to see this thing through. That's what he said. I don't quit easily, but when people make condescending remarks, I don't care if they are criticising some of our decisions, but when they are getting into personal things, and that includes everybody in our family of employees, let's not make personal attacks on them. So for me, look, again, I'm sorry, this point of condescending remarks, what is he referring to here? Because I'm sorry, if you're talking about just genuine criticisms, then you're wrong when you call it condescending. And then, I mean, you say you don't care if they are criticising some of our decisions. Well, you are part of a football club, and you will get criticised if the decisions aren't right. So that's where you've got to front up to it. So, and then he obviously said about the personal attack things. Obviously, I don't agree with that, but I just don't know what he's waffling on about here, really, if I'm being honest. We've had a few of those out of frustration. I know supporters don't really mean it deep down inside, but that's a tough one to swallow, as generally those people already feel bad and don't feel good about the situation. I'm sorry. Let's not go protecting these frauds that you have continued to employ and waste money waste your own money. Let's not go and defend these people that have miserably failed at their jobs, because that's all this is about. So these people felt bad. Yes, I'm sure they did when they got to the end of the year and got to the end of the month. Sorry, and got paid a very nice monthly salary. I bet they're so gutted and disappointed and upset about the situation. Not. He also said they want to win. I don't really think they care about the club, Kevin. So stop telling us all this stuff. And then finally he said, but we are aware and do hear them and do listen as well. Well, no, you don't, because if you would have listened, you would have sacked the people that have failed you for the past 2 seasons now out of a job last summer. You didn't do that. You decided to keep them in the job just because they're your best mates. I'm sorry. You listen to things that you want to hear, but you don't listen to things that needs to be done, that needs to be taken responsibility for right now. That's the reality of it all. So, look, that was kind of my take. But for me, let's go to the comments. But I'm going to react to the obviously overall what I thought about it now as well. So get your comments and let me know what you thought about what Nagle had to say. But before we do that, I'm going to just go into the comments. Adam says fans want Wagner back for new manager. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that of Wagner potentially being. Potentially coming back. That will certainly bring excitement. But again, we don't know what is happening. We haven't got a clear action plan from this video diary, where we are still no clearer what we are going to be doing going into the summer. and fans want to know who will, is he going to sack the people above, or is he going to continue to keep them in a job? And fans just won't renew until they know. They won't renew until they see sustainable actions. Well, a few of us won't, and quite a lot of us won't anyway, because that's ultimately we are waiting to see what decision is going to be made. But yeah, I have seen that, so I feel sorry for Wade because he's been thrown at the bus. It's like they've told him, right, whether he was good last season, go and get us in the playoffs. Well, Kevy's only an academy manager. Yeah, I think to be fair though, a lot of people have said this about the decision to sack Duff was only about, to them anyway, was only to put take the pressure off how badly those clowns in the boardroom were doing. And I think that is what a lot of people have said. They said that they sacked Duff to try and cover their own backs. And for me, it didn't wash with a lot of people. And like you said, they've decided to throw Worthy under the bus and expecting him to work miracles. And I just think it's poor. The same happened with Danny Schofield. You know what I mean? The same happened with him. And you know what I mean? So yeah, he's just so poor the way things have been handled. And so Nagle is buying the Odeon Cinema for 8.8 million. It's been on the market since February 2025. Yeah, again, we're just not interested in this. We need to see. You know what I mean? It's all right buying things around the stadium, but what does that benefit us as a football club? You know what I mean? It doesn't. So no. But yeah, Bruce's word for me hasn't been spot well by his coaching staff, in my opinion. Yeah, again, you know what I mean? I agree. He hasn't been supported the best he can. But the reality is he came into a situation that was really, really difficult to handle as well. Let's not forget. You know what I mean? Players that couldn't be any more unprofessional if they tried. A group of players that just don't put everything in. You never know what you're going to get from them. Don't always follow instruction. They just do what they want. And yeah, he has been thrown in the deep end. And it's ultimately, I think it was always a long stretch to actually expect him to do anything with his squad. But look, for me, let me just kind of sum up how I feel about all this, because, like I said, let me know what you think about Nagle's comments. Now, throughout this video diary, there was a rallying call to action regards to supporting the team rather than boycotting. But in a time where this cost of living, cost of living crisis is really hurting people at the moment, paying an increased price for a really inferior product just won't happen. And I think that's the reality that a lot of it, that's the reality of it. And they're just not in the real world, these people. You also, this is the cheek of it as well, by the way. He's asking a lot for town fans to invest in buying season cards without seeing any actions taken. How is that okay? They should be extending the season card deadline to the end of May, in my opinion. Pushing back on that. Because until we see any actions taken, fans will not renew their season tickets. No matter what the owners come out with overnight. It just won't wash with some people. We've seen through this. We're not being fooled by it all. So, yeah, I just think that the diary as well, it was a lot of blaming without mentioning names, trying to justify the season ticket prices, which, let's be honest, you can't justify them, I'm afraid. We all accept that there should be a rise, I repeat, but not to the extent that you've done and the way you've gone about it, Kevin. And that's it. And look, like I said, we have signed the wrong kind of players. And, like I said, we've signed the wrong kind of players. We needed 6-foot players in this team for this league. It's obvious, isn't it? And It would have saved him a small fortune had he actually employed people to do the right decisions for him. Now also driving revenue from the pockets of loyal supporters to waste it on poor players again and numerous managers, and to top it off agent fees at 350k. Why are we paying for this? Why are we paying off? Why are we helping him paying off these managers that your staff, Kevin, have failed and have chosen the wrong people to take this club forward? Why are we paying for the poor players that that now we're going to be stuck with, that has been signed in this regime? And like I said, the agent fees, why should we have to pay that as well? It's utter carnage, you know. Like I said, agent fees at 350k, more than the next biggest spends in the league. You know, this feels like he's taking the supporters for idiots, I'm afraid, at this point. And as I've already alluded to, I think the season card deadline should be extended. If he's not announcing changes until after the deadline, I think it's just really unfair to me to expect fans to renew when we don't know any of the changes that are needed are going to happen. And I'm going to say it right now, I'm not renewing. I'm not renewing until I see action, because I've had enough. I think that is the reality of it all, and I don't think anybody can stand for another season like we've just had off the past 2 seasons. In fact, I'm not renewing it until I see action, and that is the reality of it. I'm going to, you know, they don't deserve a penny until we see action take place in this football club, because we've been taken for the ride for the past 2 seasons and absolutely let down badly in every department. Marty Pearson needs to leave. Well, like I said, I've already alluded to Adam before. Yes, he's one of the persons that needs to leave. But every player that's out of contract this summer shouldn't be renewed. They shouldn't get another contract. So there's a lot of players that need to be out the door. But the reality is, like I've already said, we're stuck with players that have been signed, you know, recently, in the last year, 2 years. We're stuck with some of these players, and it's just absolutely madness. Wasn't Nagle doing something about the rope? Well, yeah, I mean, supposedly, but like I said, my focus is on the product on the pitch, and having competent people in the boardroom before anything else, before the rope walk, before the Odeon. We want to see a product on the pitch. We want to see competent people in that boardroom making the decisions and seeing a direction of where this football club is actually going, other than down. How are you, mate? Yeah, I'm doing all right. How are you? Didn't bother watching it. Me neither. Like I said, I've just kind of taken things from what other people have obviously summarised. And, you know, there's quite a few of us on X that said, "Can somebody just summarise what was said?" Because I can't be bothered watching it, and that's where I'm at as well. I just couldn't be bothered watching it, so I just got what people said off there. But we also saw some quotes on the Yorkshire Post, which I've kind of been going through. Not interested in his lies. Yeah, it's all false promises, isn't it? And lies. It's all false promises that nobody needs to hear. Ace Sobs needs to go next season, sell him, not loan him out. The thing is, though, are we going to be able to get rid of him? And that's another thing, isn't it? It's all right saying sell him, but somebody has to, you know what I mean, come in for him. And I just don't know. How long has he got left in his contract, Sob? Is it another year? It must be another year, but yeah, like I said, we didn't get much from this video. Not what I wanted to hear anyway. I wanted a clear action plan. I wanted to see, you know what I mean, him say about the board members what he was going to do in that department. I wanted to hear clarity on that. Didn't get any. Just nothing was said in this video diary that I took anything positive from. Nothing. It just felt like deja vu again, of saying things, saying I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. We made mistakes. We're going to get this right. You know, all this stuff. We're not interested in that anymore. I'm sorry. we're past that stage. This has been said to us before, and we just need to see a clear action plan put down in place and actually being told about as well. And so, yeah, this isn't going to paper over the cracks of anything. It may do with some people. Doesn't take much, does it, though, for some of our fan base to get all giddy again. But, you know, some of us won't see through it, and it was just the usual drivel that we've been told before. Like I said, Cartwright and Edwards just taking the owner for a ride, and the fans, and the entire dressing room is already on holiday. So it's utterly disgraceful what has happened. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it, really. Not impressed one bit. No clarity to what our plan is going forward. Just the same old from what we've heard in the past. Hull wants Saw, but yeah, I know they did actually want him, didn't they? Last, I did see that, obviously, because he was on loan at that French team. They couldn't get him out of the contract. So yeah, maybe if Hull wants to come in for him, look, like I said, there's no future for Sauber at this club, and that is why he does need to be sold when he comes back. Would you have Nigel back next season from Wolves? I haven't really been overly impressed with Nigel Longvite, really, if I'm being honest with you. I think he's done some good bits, but I just think he's just far too casual for me. I'm just not sure he's the right player for us. Yes, done it before, but it hasn't really worked out for him here as such. So, yeah, I don't really think he should be coming back really next season. That's just my opinion, but Ben Wiles. Yeah, I mean, look, there's so many players at this club that I just do. I already said the other day, guys, I won't be sad to see most of these squad go, barring 3 or 4 players. You know, Miller, Ruskin, Chapman. Obviously, Chapman's staying anyway. Probably Taylor, but Taylor hasn't been great so far. Obviously, Marshall's on loan, so I doubt we'll get him back, but I do like Marshall as well. But he's not even our player, so he's not really into the equation in this. But yeah, the rest, couldn't care less if he left. I'm done with this squad. Might get a season ticket for my local team, yeah. I mean, look, they'll appreciate your support more than Huddersfield Town do, that's for sure. You won't be taken for a mug at your local team. They'll appreciate your support. True non-league fun football should find that higher up the pyramid. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, non-league football is good, to be fair. It's where football came from, of course. And a lot of fans forget about that, don't they? They just see the Premier League, you know what I mean, in lights, the higher rate championship, but the game started at grassroots, and people don't care about that anymore, though, because there's too much money in the game. I like Ben Wild just because he pops a good goal. Apart from that, nothing. Look, Ben Wild has contributed, and I will give him that. But the reality is, he'll have one good game, and then he'll go missing for ages again, and he'll hide. He'll hide in that midfield. He doesn't want the ball. I've seen it. He'll hide, and he doesn't do anything, impact any game, after that. So we'll have one good game, and then he'll just go back to his normal self for a few games. And we'll have another good game, and it's just like, no, it's just not good enough. I'm sorry, we can't be doing this. But yeah, he has done stuff this season, but I just don't think, there's far too many times where he's just completely nowhere. He's not in the game at all. As my local team in National League and maybe Huddersfield's rivals. Fair enough. Talking about Halifax. I don't think they're really rivals with Halifax, really, but yeah. We have lots of players like that. Once they're good, then terrible for a few games. Yeah, no, I agree. We have got a lot of players. Like, I'm not just picking out Wiles. You know, there's so many in this squad that do it. Just choose when they want to turn up, and think that's acceptable. Yeah, I wouldn't say Halifax are rivals. So, I mean, look, I don't really think there's a rivalry there, but look. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here, guys, really tonight and kind of just discuss the comments by Nagle. And yeah, it's not been positive at all, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be happy with what I heard, because I wasn't. I just think we need to see action, and the fans deserve to know what the actions is going to be before they renew their season tickets. So, Kevin, it's over to you. You need to make action. You need to take actions, and you need to do it quickly. We can't be waiting any longer. We can't be having the same old conversations all the time about we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Fans want to see action because we've heard this all before. Talk is cheap. We want action. Bing said my local team in the 9th tier, which is, what team is that? Bing, let me know. And guys, if you are new to streaming, you can. If you want to sign up to StreamYard, I don't think you actually have to get an account, but if you just sign up to StreamYard, you do get a 10 euro discount. I know it's in euros, guys, but it is obviously an American. Not an American. What am I talking about? That's dollars, isn't it? But you know what I mean. It is obviously an overseas one, so that is why it's in dollars. But yeah. Anyways, we need more capable ball playing midfielders. Well, our midfield has been a problem for ages. I said it the other day. You know, we haven't had a good midfield, a strong spine in that midfield for so long now, and just isn't addressed. So yeah, no, I agree. We do need some really good ball playing midfielders in there that can take responsibility, dictate things. You know what I mean? You know, grab the game by the scruff of the neck and do things for us. You know what I mean? And yeah. You want your midfield to always be, reliable. You know what I mean? Reliable in there. And we haven't got that reliability because of half the time you're asking yourself, where is our midfield in a lot of games, which just isn't acceptable. So very different to some of the top teams anyways. Yeah. Golka United, fair enough. Yeah, I've been to Golka actually once. I used to live in Golka, actually. Yeah, I went to 1 or 2 games up there. It was good, to be fair. Enjoyed it. Mag says, Nons want to sign Sorba, and sounds like Fortuna don't want to sign Bojan. Surprise, surprise, Bojan coming back to us. And yeah, like I said, we stuck with these players. Stuck with players that we don't want due to rubbish recruitment, basically. But yeah, you said Nons don't want to sign. I thought you said they did. No, they don't want to sign. So yeah, I mean, look, Hull might be interested in Sorba. We can only hope. And Radulovic, I mean, I'd probably go back out on loan again somewhere, but maybe. But yeah, I don't know. Ace is not surprised Michael Buffon doesn't know the meaning of football. Yeah, I think definitely Sorba Thomas is more than a spoiled brat. You know what I mean? Spoiled brat. You know what I mean? Unprofessional clown that's undermined Huddersfield Town time and time again. So yeah, and Bojan. I mean, when I think of Bojan, I just think of that comment you made about. Made the comment about Huddersfield, didn't he? Saying he was bored. You know, he was bored in Huddersfield. You know, he's boring. He finds Huddersfield boring. It's like, well, off you go then. You know, he should just terminate his contract. Bojan is soft. Yeah, he is. He's just useless, isn't he? He hasn't scored for Fortuna. I know he got injured, didn't he? Actually, again, and then yeah, he's not done anything. So yeah. No, he couldn't. He couldn't score at all. But yeah, look, we stuck with these players though, guys. It's the problem, and that's why I go back to recruitment. Stuck with players that are nowhere near good enough, and I have to keep shaking my head at that Ladapo signing. I really do. Just wow, how we were tracking him all summer. Remember that, tracking him all summer? Yeah, of course. Absolutely ridiculous. But look, we're going to wrap it up there, guys. Obviously, I have kind of discussed what I think about the Nagle comments that have been made. And yeah, it's not been positive at all. And I wanted to come on here and say how happy I was at what was said, but I can't, because it's just the same old story again. We don't want false promises or anything anymore. We want action. So, look, it's over to you, Kevin. And also, the season ticket renewals, they should be extended till the end of May, until we see action. You know, it's unfair taking fans, you know, for a ride again and expecting them to pay the season tickets without seeing any kind of action going forward. You know, before the actions even took place, or should I say, it's all right saying you're going to do this and that. No, we need to see that action before that. So yeah. Well, big up to everyone that's tuned in. 15 of you in here right now. Drop a like, subscribe, and share as well. And if you're watching this on Playback, let me know your thoughts on this, on Nagle's comments. Bye to you as well, Bing. Take care. And Answer, take care. Yeah, you too, mate. Thank you. Up the town. And Cartwright out, I'm sure you're saying. And Aidan says up the town as always, mate. Big up to you, Aidan. Thank you very much for being here, and everybody else for being here as well. Good to see you, Adam, and Bing, and thank you for your contributions, Michael, as well. It's always good to have Blue Terrier as well. It's always good to have communication in the chat, so I appreciate people that drop comments in. But look, have a good rest of the evening. I will be back next week to see where we're at in terms of, these next two games. Really, we'll just come on here and discuss the next two games. It's Easter weekend, so Friday, Monday, so probably Tuesday. Yeah, so we'll come on here and speak about that on Tuesday night. So yes, guys, take care, stay safe. Thank you for watching, as always. Thank you for your support. It is greatly appreciated. Honestly, you don't know how much it means to me. So yeah, have a good evening. Have a good rest of the week. Happy Easter to you all as well. Don't eat too many Easter eggs this weekend. Sounds like seems like it's out selling, well, just 3,000 sold. Yeah, I heard, I saw there's a few figures coming out, and then I also think that's why he's come out and said what he's said now, because he knows that the season tickets start selling well, and he knows that quite a few fans will be so gullible to believe his lies again and his false promises again. So yeah, that's why he's come out and said what he said, in my opinion. But yes, not surprised at the season tickets, and that will not improve until action is taken by the club hierarchy. And we need new board members in there. We need competent sporting director and a CEO, both aligning and both having a clear plan. Have a cracking Easter, Ryan. Yeah, big up to you. Yes, like I was saying, happy Easter to you all, and I will see you all next week for another live show. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you all on the next one.